Hello, hello. Welcome for another episode of the Author Spotlight. Hey, it's your host with the most, your main man, Darren and Palmer. So excited to be with you today, where I get the honor and the privilege to go behind the scenes with best-selling authors from across the globe. Man, we got somebody special on today. Before I have him come on and share his piece in his own way, I'm going to share a little bit about my guy, Mr. Beniamin Muresan. Was born in 1985 in Romania, at a time when the country was under communist rule. His family escaped before the revolution and landed in an Austrian refugee camp in 1990. After immigrating to Canada and eventually reuniting with his siblings, Ben developed a passion for life and a mindset focused on gratitude. His parents' sacrifice for a better life fostered a deep sense of responsibility within him early on in his life. He dreamt about building an empire, motivating, entertaining, and investing in other people. Now, I'm just going to share a little bit about your bio, Ben, because I want you to come on and let them hear it from the source. So, Ben, welcome to the show, man. Glad to have you on the Author Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Darren. Appreciate you,
Uh,
my man.
no doubt, no doubt. Now, Ben, please fill in the gaps, man, because I just shared a little bit. And this is a
Yeah.
phenomenal story. I mean, we're going to talk more about the book, or they might say books plural, just drop a little plug there.
Mm.
But if you don't mind, fill in the gaps, anything that I might have left out of your bio that you think the audience would need to know about you.
So basically, just started with nothing. Communist country. My parents, massive people of faith, decided to flee during a time of communist depression, and they basically took a massive chance. They got us over to a refugee camp, had to leave two brothers and sisters behind, finally reunited a year later when they had their sixth child on the same day. God blessed us, fortunate enough to move to Canada, had three more children, oldest of nine, and I just been thankful ever since. That's why I go by humble, right? I truly
Mhm.
believe in inspiring other people that regardless of where you come from, regardless of your oppression, that you can be great and you've got a calling on your life to do more than what you think you do. So
Okay.
that's really the extent. I'm more on a mission, and my story helps folks, but I'm more on a mission to help inspire people to just do more.
Oh man, humble. I hear humble, Ben, but I'm gonna before we go into the book, whatnot. I know people are hearing humble, but you spoke about it. I think it's a perfect segue because you shared about mindset, and
Mm.
that's something that that's your forte with helping people. So help people out there who's really struggling right now. They're hearing the background about your parents and hearing your story, but some of them it's a gulf with some who might follow you, who they might just see the guy, probably could think that you had a platinum spoon in your mouth. How can he call himself humble? Here he is driving around in a Lamborghini. I really don't consider this guy to be humble. So speak to that mindset of the importance of you being successful, not only just for you and your family, but that was a pathway for you to be able to empower and help more people. So could you speak to that limited beliefs or that scarcity mindset out there for those who tuned in, who might just follow you on social media, who don't know the whole story?
Yeah. Let's go deep, man, because I don't like to be superficial with anything. Humble to me is about recognizing that I myself am a failure and I can't rely only on myself, to achieve greatness and help other people. Humble is about recognizing that it doesn't matter where you come from, right? That's where I wear a t-shirt, and I wear the hat. It's about, it doesn't matter how articulate you are. It doesn't matter how you were raised. It doesn't matter where you were born. It doesn't matter what your circumstances. You can do amazing things, but you got to remember that that's come from somewhere else. Humble recognizes that we're all broken and we all make mistakes because we all feed the flesh instead of feeding the spirit. So I believe when people finally get real with themselves about what they're struggling with and they're willing to challenge that mindset, that limiting belief, I truly believe that a whole new reality opens up for folks, that they can do amazing things. And truly beyond our own personal impact, I believe that we're actually created for a global impact. Like, my story is one story of many, many stories of people who started with nothing, aspired to do great things, got inspired, took action, achieved financial success. And what happens when you get to that point of self-actualization from Maslow's hierarchy? The only thing that brings you more gratitude and more satisfaction is to help other people achieve the same result. So yes, I have a Lamborghini. Yes, I've been financially independent, made my first $1 million at 30 years old. Yes, I've accomplished these financial things, but the greatest thing I've been able to really achieve is a sense of gratitude and purpose behind all that stuff. Because once the money is there, once you feed your own basic needs, the only thing that brings you that reward is understanding that you can help other people. You see, I've got this mission that everybody needs to become a millionaire. Everybody. And the reason for that is you're so capable of thinking through so many amazing complex problems and ways to help the world, but yet we're so focused on our own limiting scarcity, how to pay the bills next week. Right there, like how are we going to get that bill paid? How are we going to take care of this one problem? How are we going to take care of this $50 problem? And as a result, we're not living in our own true greatness. Like we're not pursuing amazing ideas because we're so focused on the small things. So I believe that if you develop the discipline, develop the financial success, from that point, you're capable of so much more. So that's where humble comes from. It's about recognizing we're all broken and there's a journey that we can all go on. We just have to make a decision. And I don't care where you come from. That decision is yours to make every day.
It's a daily decision. I love what the humble
right.
CEO just shared with us. I mean, you know, you got to pay for that success every day. You got to pay the toll road or whatnot. You can't have one home run, one win. That's that false positive. A good friend Mac talks about or whatnot. That false positive. You think you made one deal for the day, or you got one thing accomplished or whatnot. You graduated, and you think you can sit back on your laurels and think it's supposed to fall out of the sky for you, and it doesn't happen that way. And so, you know, speaking of that, you know, Ben, I want us to, you know, go into it, man, a little bit about, you know, your book, man. I just want to share with the people, for those who are listening, about, you know, from communism to capitalism. Millionaire's journey. You know, why this book as your first book, Ben, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, I learned from my pastor a long time ago that the greatest thing a person has is their story, because your story is what tethers you to another human being. And the reality is that somebody could read this book, and I put all my best stuff in there. I put my story, I put my understanding, my real estate strategy, like everything that I know goes in this book, because I'm hoping that the person who picks it up says, you know what, this was a massive inspiration. This was a massive help for me. And most importantly, I want somebody to say, you know what, if this guy can do it, I can do it. You know, that's that conscious decision every day. It's not about always just more strategies and more tactical stuff. A lot of what holds us back is our own limiting beliefs. We've got this internal dialogue that we've created with ourselves. And as a result, we're playing half the game. You know, a lot of us, like our friend Judge would say, you know, we're playing checkers when we should be playing chess. You know, with our business, with our relationships, with our health, with our mindset. Like, we're not going all the way in. And I'm hoping that somebody picks up this book and says, you know what, this guy went all the way in, and look at the success he has, not just financially, but relationally, you know, in every other area. Like Darren, I used to be 50 pounds heavier, man. And I finally decided to get my life in check, because the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. And it's a very holistic approach to success, I believe, as an impactful human being. You have to get everything dialed in, your mindset, your body, your spirit, so that you can truly serve people at a high level. Because when you're not worried about basic financial needs, it's so amazing what you can do for other people and the rewards that come from that. So that's what the book is meant for. It's meant to help inspire people. And, you know, I'm a part of a couple different organizations, one of them being Caring House Project, where we donate to build spec homes in Haiti for children that need it. And we were able to raise about $50,000 recently at a half-an-hour event that we put on. And actually, my mission with the book is to give it away for free. I'd love to give it away, and I want people to just dig deep in their heart and find out what it means to them, put a dollar amount, and then just give it to the charity that I'm working with. That's what I would love to see, so that one book could impact so many people's lives. That would be my goal here, my man.
Wow. I know some people, I know that you got to go repent right now. For some of you who've been judging my boy Ben, who really didn't know about the servant heart, the servant leadership that he operates and that he walks in, this is why you tune in to the Author Spotlight, to be able to hear from the source himself. So you can't judge a book by its cover, no pun intended there, whatnot. But you got to understand that you too can make a difference. And so we're being assured, even if you're, you know, if you're not in a third world country, even if you don't have the resources, or you don't have that jet yet, or you're not in Africa, or under a bridge in your local neighborhood or whatnot, helping somebody, whatever that looks like to you, here's an opportunity for you to be able to participate. What happened with Ben and his charity, or find something that you can do. What Ben is saying to us in a nutshell is that all of us can do something.
Mm.
Regardless where you are. It might be a $20 book. It might be you supporting and helping a village, whatever that giving level is for you, but we can do something to make this world a better place. And also we're doing it through capitalism.
That's
It
right.
can be done. It can be done. It can be done in a positive way. Instead of talking about people like Ben and others who are contributing, you might find a way what you can do with your skill set, with your passion, with your desire to be able to make a positive impact. It's one thing to talk about somebody, but then you got plenty of excuses and reasons why you're not doing anything. I heard a guy say this, Ben, and it's a gentleman or whatnot, and you know, I don't want to get preaching on here, but this dude is a pastor, but he's an entrepreneur as well. But he really hit me with this when I heard his message, because people always had something to say about his plane. They had something like they had like that was the only income he had coming in. So he said, "I tell you what, match my giving."
Mm. Match it.
He said, "Match my giving." He said, and for the record, we can do it by dollar amount, or we can do it by percentage of what your income is.
Mm. Mm. Match it.
It blew me away, because
Yeah.
he said I started off giving, got 10, now I give away over 90% of my earnings.
Mm.
And
Well,
I'm
you know
living off 10.
what's beautiful about that, man, is that, you know, the people say that, like, you know, when I become wealthy, when I make money, that's when I'm going to start giving. I've got this desire to go help people. I've got this. We all have that desire, and it's such a beautiful thing that's ingrained in all of us, is to be generous. But the truth is, you don't have to be wealthy to start thinking wealthy. See, whatever your mind's going to believe and whatever you can conceive, you can really achieve. So you got to be able to see it up here. We talk about, you know, living in a whole different reality. You see, I had to live in a reality where I had a 17-car garage and I had a 20,000 square foot home, and I was able to go out and raise millions of dollars to give to families that actually need it, because I come from a place of scarcity and communism where people told you what to do, what to think, what to eat, and how to look. That was just how it was. So you got to go there in your mind first before you ever see it in your hand. But the beautiful part is it's possible. And you think it's so hard. It's going to be hard work. That's right. You're going to have to put in the effort. But the truth is, it's possible. That journey is possible. And you don't have to have money today. You don't got to be special. You don't have to be overly talented. Listen, I failed math 2 times in high school, and today I own a mortgage financing company. It's because there are resources, folks. And when your will is greater than your intellect, you can truly accomplish whatever you want. So it's not about how smart you are. It's not about how gifted you are. It's about how willing you are to just step up in faith and just move when other people are scared to move. So the fear is interesting because we're all afraid of failure, but why don't you give us some perspective and look at the bigger fear? What happens when you get to 70 years old and you're sitting in that nursing home and you say, you know what? I could have done more. I could have helped more people. I could have helped myself more. I could have broken the generational poverty that's been happening in my family, and I could have set my children and grandchildren up for the future. And if we don't do that today, folks, guess what? We're forcing the next generation to break that curse. So Darren, I love what you're saying, man. That's right. We got to give. We got to just start with giving. Would you agree, man?
Oh man, I totally agree, man. And I just appreciate the giving that you're giving to us right now, man, with that mindset shift. And I just wanted to bring it up because here it is. Here's a guy that was in a boot camp in 1990, you know, separated from his family, a young man dealing with that type of horrible situation that he's faced with. Ben, you could have easily, and that's why I'm tapping into this, because this is your life. This is not something that's made up to make a TED talk, but this is real life for you. And you found a way to turn that to a positive. I like to use this example. You turned your pain into a product.
Mm.
And so many of us like to acquiesce to what we have been through and find a way to throw a pity party and find a reason why you don't understand. You don't know why. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know my sexual orientation. You don't know my ethnic background. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know my gender. Wham. At the end of the day, you're going to have to make a decision for you and the ones around you. And so that's why I had to have you on. And I want you to speak to that, being, what was it in you when you were kicked, when life, you know, I share this with my kids all the time, life isn't fair. how, you know, you failed math twice. You know, here you are separated from your folks. Share with us what got you through that. What was the switch that said, you know what, come hell or high water, man, I'm gonna get everything that God has in store for me, man.
Well, I love that, man. This is what I would say is that pity parties don't bring purpose. Like
Mm,
you either living in purpose and pursuing something greater than yourself or you're not. A lot of the times we're going after these intermediate goals that we think are going to bring us the sense of accomplishment. And then once we achieve them, assuming that we do, the problem is we're left feeling unfulfilled. You see, you're only living for yourself. That's the problem. For you to go to a 9-to-5 job every day and just make enough money to provide for your own basic needs is a very selfish existence, because who else are you really serving or helping? And you might say to me, well, listen, I can't even imagine helping other people until I take care of myself. Good. You need to take care of yourself. In fact, if the lion doesn't eat, the cubs won't eat. So you got to feed yourself. You got to grow, but you got to start with yourself and understand that I have to get me in order if I want to do great things. So what it was for me when I was a young kid, it was, I have two options in life, folks. We can either live by faith or by fear. And like my buddy Tim would say, that both of those options require for us to believe in something that has not yet happened. The only difference is one of them is positive and one of them is negative. So if everything you see is a glass half empty instead of a glass half full, it's going to be that way the rest of your life. So my point is your outlook and is that quality worth not fulfilling your potential purpose or greatness that you got in this life? See, I think you were designed to do great things. I don't think any human being was designed to live in oppression and poverty. You see, poverty a lot of times, especially if you're in North America. I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. If you're in North America and you tell me you're broke and that's on you. That's your fault. Because there's way too much opportunity here where you can't make an advantage, where you can't start putting in stuff, where you can't grow a skill set, you can't build a relationship, you can't plug into something, or you can start seeing some positivity. So if I was a young refugee camp at the age of 5, I realized that, listen, my parents sacrificed everything they knew and everyone they knew they left behind. My dad had to leave his son and his daughter back in a communist country, and he had to leave the next day. He had to make a conscious decision when my little brother looked at him and said, hey, Dad, wherever you go, don't stay long. My dad knew that one day, if he got to his goal, hopefully someone would intervene like the Red Cross and reunite our family. But he said, if I was going to sit back and if I was going to evaluate the consequences of my decision, I never would have left. And I think that's the difference between faith and fear. Is that, you know, what if I start all this, what if I start a business and it goes down, or what if I jump, or what if, and it goes down, but what if it doesn't though? What if it goes right? And what if it happens? And what if your family legacy is changed because of it? And we're so afraid of things that don't, I mean, guys, what we're afraid of doesn't matter. What you afraid of? Bankruptcy? You're afraid of being ridiculed by people? You're afraid of being embarrassed because you tried and failed? Well, failing is part of the process, but doesn't mean you're a failure. And if you're not willing to get up on that bicycle and keep trying to ride it, guess what's going to happen? We got a bunch of people who can't ride bicycles. So don't tell me it is for lack of bicycles, because it's not. It's for lack of you willing to take off the training wheels and sit on that bike and go downhill. You see, there are plenty of bicycles in North America, Canada, and the US. Plenty of opportunity. But it starts, like I told you, with the decision to grab those handlebars. So for me, I just became this child of opportunistic mindset where I said, you know what? I'm so thankful. And if you don't know where to start, it starts with gratitude. Listen, I got a roof over my head. I got bread for my table. I'm thankful. I am blessed today. That's where it has to start for you. If you're not in that mindset and you're not willing to go in that frame of mind of being thankful, how could you conquer something bigger than that? How could you conquer something bigger than a loaf of bread if you can't be thankful for that? So that's to me what it is, man, is that I try to stay thankful for what I have. And what happens, interestingly enough, I believe in God, but other people believe in the universe. Whatever they believe in, I believe it's the Lord. But I believe when you're faithful in the small things, he keeps blessing you with bigger things and bigger things and bigger things. And when you look at somebody driving a Lamborghini, you got two choices. You can live in faith or fear. That guy's a dirtbag. That guy's whatever. He must have robbed somebody. Or that guy must have done some stuff right. Maybe he sacrificed for a period of time. Maybe he lived in a duplex with his brand new wife. Maybe he drove older cars for years. Maybe he lived less than other people. Maybe he lived like no one else today so that he could live like no one else tomorrow, says my man, Dave Ramsey. That's a decision, folks. I'm telling you, it is a daily decision, and enough daily consistent activity over time will lead to a positive result. It's the compound effect, brother. It's the compound effect.
The compound effect. And just one thing I want to add on there, especially when you brought up my good Uncle Dave over there. But one thing that I like about your story is that when you talked about the bicycles, you found a way to increase along the way with the duplex. And so what I mean by that is you kept multiple streams coming in. You didn't try to save your way to success. Now, don't get me wrong, you got to be a good steward with what you have. But that's one thing that I'm seeing you still, even when I got to connect with you when you were getting ready to leave up out of Dallas and we chatted, you're still finding ways to leverage who you are to impact and to help more people. But it's a funny thing. I like to call it I squared. Impact, typically when you have impact, is going to have income that follow it. And so I'm looking at the ways that you're impacting lives, whether you're helping someone get their first investment property, if you're creating community. The thing is by you giving, it finds a way, because you're impacting lives, income typically follows that. So I want those who are tuned in to make sure that you take it with a grain of salt, because I don't want you to think just because we brought up Uncle Dave that you think, oh, I'm just going to save my way there and not take any calculated risk or moves or whatnot. So speak to that about taking calculated steps or whatnot when you do save or you do get to a certain spot for us, what you're looking at to invest, the importance of continuing to level up and not just get like Heathcliff and be a fat cat and not make a next move be your best move.
Yeah, let me share what I've learned over the last 12 years of investing, growing, and starting businesses. And the biggest thing was this: you have to develop a financial responsibility. And listen, I'm open and honest with what I'm doing. Like when I first started, all I knew how to do was save money. Like my wife and I, we come from scarcity. My wife's Romanian as well, from the same country. We come over here. The only thing our parents know how to do is save everything, never go out for dinner, save every penny, and live as cheap as possible. So we got into that habit. But something inside of me said, you have to learn to leverage. You have to learn to grow. The whole idea of business is to be able to leverage resources, time, energy, and money, the commodities in life, take those, extrapolate them, and grow. You got to be able to do that stuff. So we saved our way up to a certain point, and I bust my hump every day, all day. And I grinded, folks. I didn't see my wife. I grinded 7 years, right? We made it happen. I got to the point where we were worth $1 million. And by a lot of tokens, that's a lot of money. Here's what happened, though. I realized that what I was doing was not a scalable activity. You see, the problem with it, and I had leverage and I had borrowed money, used credit, bought real estate. And I've done over 250 deals as of today, and did all this thing. And then I realized that, you know what? I'm only working for myself. And we're not really gaining that much faster. The moment I started understanding the power of leveraging myself, power of leveraging credit, power of leveraging other people's time, energy, and money, I went from making $1 million in 7 years to making the next million within a year and a half. You see, the interesting part, folks, is that you do have to leverage. And I love what Dave says, but I think Dave speaks a very important message, which is this: financial discipline. You cannot invest other people's money until you get your own house in order. You see, it took me 7 years. I had to go through a season of development so that I would become that responsible steward of money. And prior to me doing that, I got a certificate in spread trading and adjusting to the stock market, course education. And one day I went out, and I remember over the course of 2-3 months, I lost almost $80,000 in the stock market. And one day I lost $40,000 specifically, and it was the hardest day of my life. And I pounded the table. I was angry. I was upset. I was frustrated, and I was disappointed in myself, in my inability to control my own decisions and my own emotions. And that day I made a vow: I will never lose money again. You see, I had to pay that back, and I had to go clean carpets and scrub floors and do the janitorial business that I had at the time. My wife had to go to work. And when that pain is so deep, folks, you have to develop. You have no choice, because you got to get uncomfortable at some point in your life where it's going to force you to change your activity, your mindset, and your behavior. And then you're going to develop different habits. So today I get to manage millions and millions of dollars, and you could drop 20 million in my lap today and it wouldn't make a difference in the way that I spend money, invest, and help people. But I realized one of the greatest influencers, once you become financially responsible, is that you are now obligated to help folks around you. You see, in my circle, I am the guy who knows how to invest capital. People come to me, my friends, my family, my investors, they come to me and say, please invest my capital, right? You see, you got to become that kind of responsible steward, because if you don't, when your mom and your dad's got 20 grand sitting in the bank, guess what they're going to do to it? They're going to go to some financial advisor. They're going to put it in the bank. They're going to put it in the stock market. They're going to do something with that money because they don't understand how to invest. They're going to make a bad decision and give it to somebody else who also does not know how to invest, more than likely. If you don't believe me, watch the stock market last week. Go check it out. Watch the housing market in 2008. Go check it out. I believe that once you've done that, though, you have to pay it forward. And for me, I recognize today that the more people that I serve, the more people that I help, the more people that I educate through our real estate training company, the more people I can impact, the more people will reciprocate that to me. You see, we got a business now, and out the gate within 3-4 months, our company's doing multiple 6 figures a month, which is amazing to me. And it comes down to the idea of servant leadership. I'm serving people at the highest possible level. When I jump on a call and there's 40, 50, 100, 200 people, sometimes a lot more than that, we jump on and like, how can we help you develop better financial habits? How can we help you buy your first real estate deal? How can we help you grow a portfolio of cash flow producing assets? Helping people is the way where you're going to make money. Helping people is the way where you're going to identify your calling. So I love what you're saying, man, because when you do it alone, folks, you're not leveraging, you're not using your resources and your abilities, okay? Only the ego gets satisfied when you do it alone, because you feel like if I do it alone to get extra points, but there is no nobility in the struggle, friends. And there's definitely no nobility in poverty, okay? We are all abundant people, and you have amazing options in this life, and you owe it to yourself to explore those options. So I'll encourage you, get out there, take action, step up.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on. We preaching today, man. We preaching today.
He's in the pulpit, man. I'm about to have an amen corner in here right now, man. Where my wallet at, man? I'm about to put my tithes and offering in there, man. So I'm about to get it in. And speaking of that, share with them ways that they can connect with you. Any website information. Let's talk about the Cash Flow Tribe. Whatever you have, man. I want them to be able to get. Somebody might need, advice on investing. You can help them with that, or they might just want to connect with you far as speaking or the businesses and things like that you have to offer. So share with the audience how they can connect with you. Anything that you want to share, brother, share it. And I'll make sure that we have it in the show notes as well for those who might be driving or whatnot, who don't have opportunity to be able to get all this information down.
So the first thing is, it's not even about me, folks. I love to just share what's available to you out there. We started a company called Cash Flow Tribe, a few months ago, all about serving people, all about impact, all about transparency, results, and community. That's what we're based on. Real estate investors making money. Doesn't matter if you're brand new, doesn't matter if you're a seasoned investor. There's a way for you to plug in, because we believe the relationships you cultivate will determine your net worth. That's the way that's going to work. So cashflowtribecanada.com. You can go to Facebook, go to Cashflow Tribe. You can go to Instagram. We're all over here, and we're a vibrant community of folks that are growing and serving each other. As of today, we've got over 2,000 members in Cashflow Tribe, and it's a movement. It's not just a company. And if you want to connect with me personally, you can just go to humble.ceo and get plugged in. My book's going to drop in the next few weeks here. So that's humble.ceo. And please, get connected with me. I'd love to see if I can help you folks. We're doing more speaking. My daddy was a minister, right? Still is a minister. So I love to share this message. So if you're looking for someone to help, with your church group or your organization, I'm very, very honored to have been invited to be the MC and speaker at the Obsessed Conference with my brother, Evan Stewart. And that's going to be happening in Dallas, Texas. So if you can go to obsessedconference.com, it's going to be powerful. It's going to be an amazing venue, amazing opportunity to just plug in. But what I'm trying to say is focus on you. You got to get you right. Plug in with me if I can help. I'm more than happy to share my resources. And, I'm just so thankful to be here with my brother, Evan, and my brother, Darren, here today.
Oh, no doubt, man, no doubt. And before we get out of here, man, my man Ben shared so much information, but he brought up a point as we get ready to close this out about the importance of who you're connected to,
Mm.
who you are networking with. We were able to be at an event together. Everybody that was at that event invested to be at that event. They traveled, they took time out of their businesses, they left family, friends, and loved ones. But it's been a connection because of that. The gentleman Evan that he brought up, we all met at the same event, and we've been able to connect with each other and use our services, our connections, our influence, revenue activities, just so much that we've been able to glean from each other because of this. And I want to tell you all this. There's no merit, like I said, in killing yourself, thinking that you did it all by yourself, people.
Mm.
That's the Achilles heel for most people. It's no shame, and you don't know who you're going to meet, what country, what color skin that they may have that could be able to be a benefit to you and your family and help the trajectory of your life to allow for you to create the legacy that you want to create. So I'm telling you, make sure you level up in your network. Please do that, but make sure definitely work on yourself. Like, start with you, work on yourself, but don't have ego. Be able to be humble, no pun intended. Be able to be humble, man. Get with people who can help you go to the next level. Come in and be open to saying, hey, I don't know everything. Hey, this area that this is your forte, I don't know. If I need to come, if I need to invest in what you're doing, if I need to come and help serve and hand out t-shirts, whatever it is, be humble enough to get the right information and be around the right people, because one person could change your whole business.
Right.
Just one, out that one connect alone, not Facebook ads, not anything else, not YouTube clicks. You can meet the right person and everything changes for you. And
That's
so
right,
I just want to make sure you leave with that. Ben, if you don't mind, words of wisdom before we close out here, that young person, older person, that person in transition that felt like, man, I got hit with a blow in life.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get back up. I need to do something. And they feeling down. It sounds good for Ben because he's living like this now, but could you share with that person who's thinking about giving up the importance of why they should keep moving forward, man, and taking advantage of the opportunities that we've been blessed with in this world?
I would say, listen, friend, you don't have to do it alone. There are plenty of folks that want to help you. And I know you think the world may be a scarcity-driven place where everybody's in it for themselves. The truth is there are good people out there. But it starts with you deciding to bring value to the table. Go and buy a person a coffee. Go and reach out. Make a phone call. You'd be surprised. Will you get some no's? Maybe. But what if you get a yes that could completely change your life? Just get around mentors. If the environment that you're in is not a productive, healthy environment, then you have to make a conscious decision to get into another environment. You see, my wife and I made a decision years ago that we weren't growing fast enough. So we had to go and develop a whole new set of friends. So I flew over to the States, went to conferences, went to boot camps, went all over to meet people. And as a result, I'm here today. So I would tell you, get around other people. If your friends and family are toxic, you can love them, but you can love them from afar. It's time to get into a new circle of relationships because other people have what you want. And you just have to find them, invest in those relationships, show people that you're genuine, and I promise you, the reciprocity and the blessings will flow back in your life. That's what works. That's guaranteed. So if you don't know where to start, plug in with guys like Darren. Plug in with folks that actually genuinely care. And start by reading the right materials. Start with little books like Think and Grow Rich. Start with anything that can help you change your mindset and battle that negativity every day. That will help you change your life.
Hey, we want to be respectful of your time. Thank you so much, my man Ben, for coming on today. Nothing but value bombs, as I knew he would do. And I really appreciate your time, brother, man. I know for those who are like, hey, is this real? Hey, I've been with this guy behind the scenes for real, not just with this episode where it's just us talking. He is who he says. And I mean, he's humble. He's not going to tell y'all this, but I can say it because I consider him as a friend. He's poured into me. I've been able to learn so much from him by watching him, the importance of seeing who he is, not only as a businessman, but as a husband, that he takes the same type of work ethic and design to be able to be the best husband that he can be as well. Want to make sure that we shout out the first lady over there. So, but at the same time, this is a real guy, and I'm sharing with you all too. It doesn't matter where you are in life, it can change. Just think,
Mm.
Ben was in a concentration camp in another country in 1990. Let that sit and marinate like a good T-bone steak from Texas. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, just think about that. Your situation can change if you change, if your mindset change. It can switch around for you. But until next time, thank you, Ben. We'll have all that information in the show notes, brother. I appreciate you taking time out for us today. But until next time, if you won't change, be the change. Be blessed and be great.
Stay humble.